Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Farmtown U. This is your professor of Farmtown, Edward, speaking, and today we're going to talk about planting underneath trees. Now, in this tutorial, we're actually going to do two things. We're going to show you how to plant underneath trees, and we're also going to show you how to overlap your fields. Uh, Now, what we're going to first do is make sure that this farm is set up as our default farm. To do that, you go underneath your title of your farm, click on it, and make sure that you have this box here checked. Mine is checked already, so it's in gray letters instead of black. If it wasn't your default farm, it would have been your option to check that box. Now, now that we have that done, we're going to hide everything. As you can see, the trees are up here, and I already have some fields down here that are overlapped. And underneath the trees here, there is no fields yet. So we're going to put fields underneath these trees. So we're going to go ahead and hide everything. To do that, you select your tool icon, and then deselect all your show options. Everything that says show something, deselect it. What that does is it hides everything that is possible to hide. And then you click on the green check mark here, and as you can see, everything is now gone. These red squares represent the placeholders for everything that you've hidden. And as you can see, when you go there and you want to plow there, you can't because it's showing that there's something there. That's why the plow tool stays red. So what we're going to do is we're going to refresh this farm, and that will get rid of all the red placeholders there. So we're going to go ahead and refresh. And once it refreshes, we'll see that all the red tick marks are gone. As you can see, there's no more red marks anywhere on my farm here. Now, you think, aha, so it's clear. So I should be able to plow. So you select your plow tool and go to where you want to plow. And what the heck? It's still red. Well, the reason being is while you hit your tick marks, the game is still showing that you have fields there or stuff there. So to get rid of that, you have to select a smaller, like a single plow farm. Find someplace on your farm anywhere, and it doesn't have to be a field. It can be anything. You can plant a flower, you can plant a tree, anything. But since we have everything hidden, you really want to be able to see those. Crops you can still see. So we're going to go ahead and put a field of, plant a field there, and once it gets there, okay, once it's there, select your bulldozer and delete it. Now, I don't know why it works, but that's the key to planting underneath things. Once you plant that single plow, single field and delete it, look at that. Everything's green now. You can plow to your heart's content. Now, since we are going to be overlapping this, we need to open up two more windows. And first we're going to have to go offline on this farm. So you click on the green plug here and disconnect from the online mode. So now you're offline, and you go up here to play, and you either right click on Windows, or you control click on play, and you open the link in a new tab. That'll open up another window to that same farm because that's your default farm. So go right to that farm. If you didn't select the default farm, just go ahead and move to that farm as normal. It just saves you a step if you make it your default farm. So we're going to go to that default farm, and we're going to take that one offline. It takes 3 layers to overlap fields. So we need to open up one more window, same way. Control click on play or right click on play and open the window in a new tab. This will open our third and final window. And once we get that open, we're going to go ahead and go offline on that window as well. Now, you go back to your first window there. Now, to show where you want to plow at, I have a fence line here that I'm going to show you now. And to do that, you show your decorations. Now that's the fence line I'm going to plow up to. So that's my marker for where to stop. So I'm going to select the plow tool. And you notice how it's red again. That's because we went off this farm. And so what we have to do is we have to find that green spot again. There it is on my farm. There's usually always someplace on your farm. And delete it. And now we can go up and plow on our farm. So you go up to the corner there, as tight as you can get, and you put your first plow. Oop. I noticed I made a mistake there. Don't worry about it. Just go up to your bulldozer and clear it out of there. Okay? And select again and do it again. People get all paranoid. Oh my gosh, I screwed up, and they keep going, thinking they can't do anything about it. All you do is delete your mistake like you would normally and redo it. And there you have your first level is plowed. Now, if you don't want to overlap, you're done. You don't even have to open up those 3 tabs like I showed you before. Just go ahead and plow that field as it was. And fill in all the spaces here. Up to my fence line there. Now, if I didn't have that fence line there, and I wanted to show where to work, before I opened up the windows, I would put something on my farm to mark where I want to plow up to. Otherwise, I had all my buildings down here, and I'd be plowing underneath the buildings, which you can do, and then just delete whatever fields afterwards that pop up on top of your buildings. Okay, now that's the first level that's done there. If that's all you wanted, and you just wanted to plow underneath your trees, you're done. The other 2 windows don't even matter. Just close everything out. You didn't even have to open up the other 2 windows. But now we're going to overlap. So to overlap, you're going to click on the Save Your Pending Changes button up here, your Save button, and close that window out. That's your first layer. Now, when you get to the second farm, notice the fence line is gone again because I didn't bring my fences back before I opened up these windows. So I'll show my decorations, and I'll bring back up my fence line. Now, obviously, when I go to plow, it's going to be all red again. So don't worry about it. Find that little magic spot where you can plow a single field and delete it. Delete. Now when I go to plow, ta-da, it's all green again. Okay, now remember we started out tight against the corner here. Well, we're going to go up there again, but instead of doing it there, we're going to move it over slightly, 1 space like that. And that's our starting point. Now we line up the rest of the fields against that point. We don't have to worry about moving anything over anymore. Just plow as usual. Now I always overlap left to right like this, just by moving over a little bit to the right. Some people will start from the top edge and go down. You can do it that way too. I find that most people, it's easier to work the farm going left to right because that's, same way you read, same way you write, etc. So now notice that the 4x4, you can't fit any more in there. So just go down to your next lower size plow and fill in as much as you can up to that space. Just use a smaller plow tools to fill in all your spaces that you can. Okay, this is our second level of fields, plowed fields. It takes 3 and only 3 layers to overlap fields if you're going in one direction. You can overlap going in 2 directions, which is a lot more difficult and a hell of a lot harder to work. So anyway, that's our second layer. And we're just going to go up here to the save button and save our changes again and close out of that window. Now we're back to the last farm. Oh, once again our fences aren't showing. So we're going to show my fence line. There it is. And once again, we as you know already, it's all going to be red. You won't be able to plow until you take that first one, single one somewhere on your farm, plant a single plow field, and then delete it. For some reason, that is the key. I don't know why that is, but that's the way you do it. And that's the key that most people need to know about. Now, overlapping fields, we're on our third one. So where we started with the first one here, and we moved it over once for the second layer. For the third layer, guess what? Move it over one more time. And there we go. There's your first mark. And then just go ahead and fill in all your fields. Now, you don't have to start from a corner like I did on this video. If you have an area on your farm where your fields are in the middle of your farm or whatever, you usually have a fence line around it or a dirt path or something that will demark where you're starting your first square from. If you don't, just go ahead and put something there like a fence line, another crop that's not going to be in that area, like on the outside edge around it. Uh, Anything like that that you can see, and you put that on your farm before you open up your windows. And what that will do for you is that'll give you a same starting spot on all your farms, so you know where to start your first one from, and then move it over one spot on the second farm, move it over 2 spots on the third farm. And then once you have all this done, you're done. Now the same way that you were able to plow underneath the trees by putting that single uh, field down here and deleting it, you can do the same thing even if you don't want to plow or plant crops underneath there and you want to plant flowers under your trees. Do it the same way. Hide your trees and refresh, and then you can plant a flower somewhere that's green and plant that and delete it, or plant another field and delete it, whatever you want to do. That's the key to planting underneath things, whether it be a crop or flowers underneath trees. Okay, now on the third level, we're done here. So we're going to go up here and save again, save our pending changes, and then we're going to refresh the farm because we did 3 layers, each time moving it over one spot. And there we go. Our farm is now layered. As you can see, we have layers underneath there. And our trees are still there. We just got to show our trees, show everything. And there we go. We have fields now underneath our trees. And happy farming, everyone.